All right, we're going to welcome those back. We're back on Facebook, social media. I'm going to just assume that we had technical difficulties. Welcome back to those on Facebook. And we have I believe we corrected our technical difficulty that we had. It should be live stream. Okay, can't say the same for Facebook, for YouTube. But we'll settle right now for Facebook. And this is going to be part 2. And the title is The Secret of Adam. A-D-A-M. Adam. Ant. Now, before we lost our signal, allegedly, the internet, in part 1, we were right at the beginning of a video that was recorded, an interview of my father that was recorded in our temple at the time, Temple of Love in Miami, Florida, 1986. It's called Time Interview. You can find it on YouTube, Time Interview of Yahweh. And we were about 27 minutes or so into that recording. I believe it's like 57 or so minutes long or short. So let's go back to that before we be interrupted again by an accident. Let that play.
Rejected and despised by my own people. That fulfills the scriptures. Totally, I have lived that. Then, after I demonstrate my persistence, that I would be rewarded with those who would come into the knowledge and who would be believed and be redeemed. And that's what I'm doing. And of course, then the world will take notice through the work that I do. And I've lived that. I'm living it. All that the word is, from Genesis through Revelation, I'm living it. Because I come in the volume of this book, all 66 of it.
So you're speaking of both the New Testament and the Old Testament?
Yes, and Revelation.
But in the New Testament, you reject the emergence of the Messiah.
No, I am the Messiah that is prophesied. I am the Messiah of the New Testament.
But the books that talk about Jesus are not, are out of date or
That's prophetic. You see, Jesus, the man that is called, Jesus, remember his name is Yahshua.
Yeah.
Yahshua was a disciple of John. John was the man. John was the prophet. The man called Jesus, when he was baptized, baptized had nothing to do with the water. Again, the scriptures are written figuratively, literally, in metaphors, similes, in prose, and in poetry, and full of allegories. So when you read of the man that was called Jesus being baptized and being put under water, then I would have to teach you what baptized means. You'd have to break down the word baptized in all of its letters. See, every word is scientifically composed of letters that are words.
Okay, we got it? What was just said? Every word is scientifically composed of letters. Every letter is a word. It creates another word. You got it? Let it play on.
Within themselves. Every letter is a word. So when you break down the word baptized, you have B, which follows A, and I am A. Alpha. B follows the series of A. And B is also the word BE, which comes into existence as a result of A. So...
You got it? You got to follow this now. It's recorded in 1986. And during that interview, my father said that he's A. As I said, the first in the series. That's followed by B. B came into existence as a result of A. That means A brought B into existence. Right? B would be BE from the east, let there be, which is part of himself, that is known as the Christ, that they call, and he corrected him. They called him Jesus, and he abandoned him and corrected him as his name was Yahshua back then. So my father identified himself, even allegorically and metaphorically, as John the Baptist, and A. And then has to come B. I mean, A, be baptized, B. Play on, let's see what else he says.
Therefore, John was prophesying about A coming, which is the first in the series. And the second set of the word is APT, meaning apt. Now, to be apt, you have to be, that meant that the man was baptized by John, had to become clever, adroit, sagacious, etc., in the ism of John. That made him an ist. That's why he was called John the Baptist. See, he...
Okay, now, the second set he said is APT, right? Okay, so now that's where you're going to write. We're not done with that. You have to go to a different screen. You take your notes and you write down APT, apt. I mean, whoever's coming, who he be aptized, would have to become clever, adroit, sagacious, right? In the ism of the ift. And that's why he was called John the Baptist, because he made his Christ become all of that. Insomuch until each letter becomes a word. Each word is scientifically composed of letters. So we have A, and he's A. Then you had P. P was created in English from the Hebrew Pe. Pe is a symbol of the mouth. Right? Pe, you have Pe and Fe. Pe is symbolically the character that describes the mouth of the Lord. Then you have T. You have T for trust. And what else I gave you T for the other day? Even the transmission of the mouth. Truth. Truth, trust, the transmission, the theology, the tranquility of the three, right? T. So now that the his mouth is speaking, his mouth ascended on May 7, 2007 of that vessel. But his celestial self, he made an announcement back in 1992 that he ascended of his celestial self. But since the physical vessel that he used ascended on May 7, 2007, then the Pe left with him, the P. And then he left Nun here, Nun, the son of Nun. Then his spirit was left. His spirit is found in Nun. That's why the Christ also became known as the son of Nun, because of the spirit that's in him of the Father. The Father is Nun. The Pe left, the Nun took his place. So that means instead of having the APT, you now have the ANT. So make a note of that. Write down ANT. And you may think it spells the ant, but it's not. Now we got to go to the ANT. You have to go to the ANT. You sluggard. And not only that, when you go to the ANT, you have to consider her ways. Once you consider the ways of the ANT opposed to the APT, then you become wise. Now let's see what happened to the Christ. The ift. Let that play on.
Was he came to be in the knowledge of Yahweh, and he then subsequently became apt in the ism, which is that dogma, and the laws of Yahweh. So, since John was the one that was the prophet, then the man that was called Jesus was baptized by him. That made him a student and a disciple of John, not the one. And when he attempted...
Okay, I want to catch that part, but if we may have it. Did you hear what my father said to them in 1986? That the one who is called Jesus is not him. He's John. Remember the name of Yahshua. His name was known back in the days of Yahshua. Even Micah. When you read the book called Micah in chapter 7, you'll find some words that are there and some verses that are also found in Matthew. Especially chapters 5 and 12 of Matthew. However, going back to the Christ, became baptized by John, right? Made him a student. Now, write down student, right? You should have S-T-U-D, and they put E-N-T. Now, what are the first four letters?
S-T-U-D.
S-T-U-D is stud. That means this stud, write it down, stud, and then separate the two. That's a prefix. The suffix is E-N-T, but you're going to change the E-N-T because E is everlasting from the east. We're already here in the east. We're going to take away the E, and we're going to put back A as Ma'ab is A of the A-N-T. So opposed to being student, it's going to be student. If you pronounce S-T-U-D-E-N-T, it's student. It's student. If you pronounce the last four letters of that word, you have D-E-N-T. That's a dent, isn't it?
Yes.
However, you put an A there, you have student. You have unt. It's student. There never was an E. You got it?
Yes.
Keep that in mind, because we're going to take it to the stud and let you know who the stud is in comparison to the dromedary, and the rest of the horses, especially the red horses, hidden in Ezekiel and Zechariah, especially Zechariah, chapters 1 and 8 and 14, I believe, 13. Let the rest of that play. Now you know that the Christ, B, is a student of John
Yes.
and disciple. Not only disciple, but decipher. A decipher of John. That means a student who he baptized and they called Jesus or the Christ would also become a decipher of John, to decipher the words and secret that John left behind. Because he will also carry in his characters faith opposed to pay. You have disciple, right? And decipher with faith. The Father is pay, the Son is faith. That's why you have two characters like that, even with sheen and sin. Sheen and seen. Right? The only two. Sheen and seen, pay and faith. The only two characters like that. You have others, but kaf, that final. Kaf Sophie, Mem Sophie, etc. Got it? Okay, so now, play the rest of that before we go and break down stud and student. Right? Student. Go ahead, what else?
To assume the mantle of the one, he began to teach secrets that were not...
Teach what?
Secrets.
Secrets. And it's true, I bear witness. Over 2,000 years ago, the man they called Jesus, 2,024 years ago, began to teach secrets. And he was told by his father, his teacher, the one who baptized him, John, Yohanan, not to reveal secrets. Not yet. Don't do it yet. They can't take it. They cannot take it. Why? Because they're sluggards. Because they're sluggards. They cannot take it. They cannot take it. Don't do it yet. They can't take it. They cannot take it. Why? Because they're sluggards. They cannot take it. They cannot take it. Why? Because they're sluggards. and they're full of idolatry. Even idolatry. They're full of that idolatry. Yeah. Even entity. INDENTRY. They're full of that. So don't tell them that, or they're going to think that you want to be me. You trying to take over the mantle. Hard-headed, excited. When it done anyway. All right? Yeah. Was the time. So as they thought that Christ was trying to take over the mantle of the one, it's too early. What happened? Read it.
Taught until the time of the one to come. He was 2,000 years, well, 1,900 years early of his coming.
Now, he gave them a hint. This is 1986. Then when that interview was being recorded. But my father just mentioned he was 2,000 years, well, he was 1,900 years too early. Letting them know that the one to come will come after the year 2000. But they couldn't pick that up. You got it? Okay, so let that play on.
And when he began to reveal the knowledge of who Satan was, John 8:44, when he began to reveal the knowledge of the Son, the knowledge of whose right to rule it was,
He began to reveal the knowledge of who the Son is, letting them know that John the Baptist is not the Son. And if you look in Luke chapter 1, it puts both of them there. As John came first. Then the Christ came after John. Luke chapter 1. I mean what? John's mother was Elizabeth in the Bible. But the Christ's mother was Mary in the Bible. In the Bible it says they were months apart. But in reality they were years apart. In reality, like 19 years apart. You getting it?
Yeah.
Okay. So that would be the difference from John and, or they put both with J, John and Jesus. Yohanan and Yahshua. Yahshua was a disciple and a student of Yohanan. Got it? Now when you read Yohanan chapter 1 in the Bible, New Testament, John chapter 1, read that whole chapter, you see that Yohanan was prophesying of the one to come. And said him before me, preferred before me. He was standing right before him. But they thought that was before him, like the day before yesterday. They didn't know what that meant. Secrets. So what happened as he began to teach secrets that were too early? 2,000 years, 1,900 years too early, what happened?
could not afford to be left alive. So for breaking the secret, for teaching the secret that he had learned in secret, he was killed for it. And that's why he was hung in his shorts, without any clothes on, because he was initiated in that manner. That's why his collarbone was broken, and his head was hung to the side. See? Because that's a sign that all men who study in secret understand quite well. I'm the only one to make that clear.
You still, the Bible, Scripture, is the basis for you.
Yes, I am. I come in the volume of this book. I have no statements outside of it. I'm the fulfillment of it. In other words, I'm the promised Messiah of the Old Testament, fulfilling the New. That's me. That's why up until this time, for 1900 years, he's been promised to come back, knowing full well that I have to come.
The Scriptures, if you interpret them that way, foretold the death of the man called Christ. Do you see such an end for you? Will you die? Will you be persecuted?
I'm being persecuted.
Will you be fatally persecuted?
I cannot be fatally persecuted. I'm incarnate. You can't kill God. It does not matter at all about the vessel that I'm in. I chose to come in it, and this physical vessel is totally irrelevant. Totally. I am spirit. I am truth, and I am life. And I'm light. I'm the light. That light is all men that cometh into the world.
Okay. That takes us back to the Tetragrammaton. That statement that my father just made, my aunt just made, right there in that recording, takes us to the 3 Hebrew characters and 1 position twice that they call today the Tetragrammaton. That means what? From right to left. From right to left. From right to left. You have Yod. Oh, actually, we're going to go from the last. We're going to go from Hey. Hey is the door. Hey is the door. The character, the Hebrew symbol, that's shaped like a door, like an arch at the door. Hey, right? Wab is a protection, and those coming through the door to be protected. To the door. Wab. 6 feet. That's 6. That 6 is the miracle number. It's also prophetical. 6. That means the angel would be standing at the door, protecting those that come through the door. That angel would stand at 6 feet tall. 6 feet. 72 inches. That was hidden in Revelation chapter 21 and verse 17. The measure of the angel, of the man, which is the angel. 6. 4 cubits. Then you have Hey again. That is the truth. When you get the truth, you come through the door. You come through the angel that will protect you, and he will take you through the door.
Yeah. Teach you the truth.
Right. The truth. Right. You got the door. That way, that wall is also the way to get to the door.
Yes.
With Hey, huh?
Yeah.
And then you have Yod is the life.
Life.
The way, the truth. Right. The way, the truth.
The door.
The door, the way, the truth, and the life. The door, the way, the truth, and the life. That's Yod Heh-Wav Heh. Yod is life. If there's no Yod, there's no life. That means Yod created life. The existing one. That's not, that means Yod Heh-Wav Heh is not his name. They created that. I said that before, but I'm just reiterating. Now let's go back to, you can go back to my father. So you heard him say he's not bound in any vessel.
Thank you.
He come to choose it. You can't kill God. He told them at the same time he's John, he's also God. During that interview. I don't know if they caught that. They thought he was Yahweh ben Yahweh or Moses Israel. But he told them during that interview very cleverly that I'm incarnate. You can't kill God. I chose to come as vessel. And they still don't know. So now let's go back to, you have your screen? Okay. Go to this Strong's Concordance search box. Because you wrote down student, stud. Okay, just type in stud. You're not going to find stud, S-T-U-D, in the King James Version. But you will find it, I believe, in the NIV or some Bible. Takes you to Esther chapter 8, verse 10, I believe. You have stud?
Yeah.
Now you're going to go to your notes from I gave you from yesterday. You have stud. Very quickly. We're going to share with the world what I've taught you in secret. See, I've been teaching you secrets. I've been teaching you privately in secrets. That's how you became the Pravient. You became the Pravient servants. Pravient. They never heard of that. That's Pravi with the ant. And private with the ant. Instead of the E, private, P-R-I-V-A-T-E. Instead of the E, I put the A-N-T, the Pravient. The Pravientant. You have it? What you have? What it come to? You put S-T-U-D and search it. It takes you to what? Takes you to several. Take you to NKJV?
No.
No. Not even the New King James Version. Go to the first. What did it take you to? What's the first one?
The ESV.
Go to the ESB. It should take you to Esther chapter 8, verse 10.
Yeah.
Read it. Read it there. And then at the same time, before you read that, well, read that. Read that first.
And he wrote in the name of King Ahasuerus and sealed it with the king's signet ring. Then he
The
sent,
king's signet ring. And what?
then he sent the letters by mounted couriers riding on swift horses.
So like FedEx, trucks today, UPS, USPS, United States Post Office Service. What else?
that were used in the king's service,
Okay.
bred from the royal stud.
From the royal stud. One stud. Now you have to go to the King James Version and find out what's really there instead of stud. They have to have something there. Go to Esther chapter 8 verse 10 in the KJV that we use, the most prominent one, the most famous, the most renowned Bible that's being used today. 1611 King James Version Bible. And what do you have? I don't know if they notice it before you read it. If you notice in the back of me, there's a brass cup that is sitting inside of brass hands.
Yeah.
And you can see a bottle of water protruding from that. I put that there as a sign for whoever wants to know the secret of Psalm chapter 23. As I'm filling your cup up now with water that should be running over. My cup runneth over. Where's my cup? Running over full of water, ma'am. See the water sticking out of the cup? It's running over. It's over the cup. Read that.
And he wrote in the king Ahasuerus'
Sounds
name,
familiar, almost the same.
yeah, and sealed it with the king's ring, and sent letters by post on horseback, and riders on mules, camels, and young dromedaries.
Oh, young dromedaries. But this said stud in that Bible. It didn't say studs. So there's a young dromedaries and dromedaries someplace. Huh?
Yeah.
Now go back to your search box and just type in dromedary without the IES. DROMEDARY without the IES. Let's see what it takes you. You get there yet? Malfunctioning? It's not, we haven't lost the, I still have mine. Dromedary, right?
Yeah.
See if it takes you to Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 23.
It does.
It does?
Only one.
Okay. The only one. It's in Jeremiah chapter 2 verse 23. Click on it, the reference. You want to get to H1070, 1070. It should take you to a young, what you think is young camel. And it says dromedary again. That right?
Yeah. 1070.
You got young camel? That's not young camel.
Yeah.
From right to left, the last two letters of camel is EL. From left to right, EL. You see it?
Yeah.
The last letter is L. And when you look at that, each letter, you see it? Each letter is scientifically composed of words. Each word is a letter. Each letter is a word. Both ways. So what you have here is he came with gods. L. That's why they had, see, and Esther is plural, right?
Yeah.
We put stud, not studs. So there's one who's young, a young man, Yahshua, a young man who came with other gods to this planet.
Wow.
And they're here with him today. In so much until now you're going to go to the etymology of that, which is 1069, and you're going to see that he came with Israel and in Israel to the other tribes who was a young, the first fruit, the first to be born first. Do you see that? That's
Yeah.
H1069. What's it say?
To be born first.
To be born first. Read under the PL,
Mhm.
read the letter I, number one, what?
To bear early
And
new
what?
fruit.
The new fruit. Now go to A, to make what?
To make as firstborn.
Right. And to go to the Pual meaning, under B, what's the first one there?
To be born a firstling.
And to do what in the second?
To be made.
To be made a firstling. Right? And the bottom is one bearing her first child. That her is a woman. Right? Okay, now, that means whoever this stud is, or this one who came with other gods, his soul desired to be with the first or new fruit, the firstborn. There's only one that fits that profile. Now go to your Bible and go to Micah chapter 7. Micah chapter 7. I'm going to join with my Bible. Because I think it's only fair that I should read this. Since my father called me Micah, I'm known as Micah, so I think it's only fair that I read this. Micah chapter 7, verse 1. Whoa! See, not only am I Micah, I'm also Woe.
Yeah.
You didn't know that. I'm also Woe. That explains the E after the O and the W. The Wab, the protection, the Wab, 6 feet, from Celestial Lodge to the circle here in the east. You think it's Woe. Each letter is scientifically composed of another word. Each word is a letter. Wab, W, protection, the circle, the Celestial Lodge, and E of the east, from everlasting, eternal. That's me. Woe is me. Who I'm here for I am. I am is when they have gathered the summer fruits, as the grape gleaners of the vintage. And as I look around today, there's no cluster to eat. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? They are all sluggards. They are idle. They're not moving forward or backward. They're idle. I-D-L-E. And because of that, from the beginning, my soul desired the first ripe fruit. That's Micah chapter 7, verse 1. You see it? My soul desired the first ripe fruit. That's past tense, desired. That's from back then. That's from the beginning. Desired from the beginning. You got it? That's all hidden in that meaning of stud, of dromedary. Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 23. Now, when you got stud, now, when you add, that means the other ones that are with him that are all gods, they too are studs. That's where the plural comes in. Horses. Studs also known as horses.
Yeah.
Right? That means they too are students, but there's only one stud ant. Now you have S-U-D, S-T-U-D, right?
Yeah.
Now, opposed to the E-N-T, just for the sake of it, go back to your search box. Let's prove it. Go back to the search box. All right? And type in E-N-T. How many times it exists?
Zero
0
times.
times. Really? Okay. So, do this now. Take the A away, the E away, put A there. And what you have? Ant?
Yeah.
How many times?
Ants. One time.
One time. Okay. In the whole Bible.
One time. One verse.
Okay, Ma mentioned in that video, that recording, that interview, I took away the P because I was just about speaking.
Mhm.
And I put the N there, and now you end up with ant. A-N-T. But before the N came, and this is still none, there's none.
Mhm.
See that ant? That N is still none. That's my father.
Mhm.
Because Joshua's the son of Nun. That's not Joshua.
Mhm.
But I put the N there to show you and take you to Proverbs 6:6. And that's the only place in the Bible you're going to find sluggard, in Proverbs chapter 6. But before we get to sluggard, take out the N. Let's see what happens if you take out the N and put the P back there. No such thing, right? See, when you have APT,
Mhm.
don't click on it yet, just put the APT.
Mhm.
You look at that and you think it's abbreviation for apartment. I'm looking for an apartment to rent. Is that word or not the word that my mentioned?
Yeah, that's the word.
APT.
Mhm.
Now I'm going to ask you a question. See, for those who think you study, you don't even know what study is. I'm putting study in your face. They don't see it. I put study in your face. I even gave it to you with the door, with the tetragrammaton. I just gave you, they don't see it before I reveal that. Write down on your paper, write S-T-U-D. You got it, S-T-U-D.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
Stud. A stud is a horse. Right?
Right.
Now, that means Adam, don't forget the name of this is Adam. The secret of Adam Ant. That means Adam, A-D-A-M, is life. He gives life. And he became the life. He became man of the living soul. And finally, man became a living soul. Now we're going back to Genesis chapter 2, verse 7.
Mhm.
That the God of the universe breathed into this man's nostrils and became a living soul and called his name Adam. Life. That means Adam also had a Y chromosome in his genes, his DNA. He had X of 23 and one Y chromosome from the father, his father. Right? Yttrium.
Mhm.
Right? Chemical element.
Yeah, you
Okay. So with that one Y chromosome and the X chromosome with the O, they take on a woman's characteristics too, a woman, to become a she, also known as a sun-clad woman. In Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. A woman. That mean he have her ways. Adam have her ways too. He have his ways, he have her ways. 24 DNA chromosomes total. Now when you take that Y chromosome and add it to the stud that he is, do it. Write down S-T-U-D and then put the Y right next to the D from left to right. And you think it was something that you're supposed to do in research. What you have?
Study.
You think it's study. Before we look up study, see what apt is. See, before you be taught, wait. Once he teach you, then he told you to study. But you think it was studying for an exam that you're going to take Friday to pass the bar exam or to graduate to the next grade in public schools. You call your, what you doing? I'm studying. What you studying for? My math test tomorrow. Well, how come you just don't study to become a powerful stud of life of the Sister Lodge? What? Yeah, with Adam as a god. Camel came, all the gods came with Adam, with a stud of the Y chromosome, the blood. That's where the red horses come in Zechariah chapter 1. Speckled, red, and white. I'm not going to go over that. That's not a subject. But click on APT and see if you have to study as you've been taught. Is there such word in the Bible? APT.
4 times.
4 times. You never knew that. The first one you should see in 2 Kings chapter 24. Is that right? Read it. How many men?
And all the men of might.
Of what?
Might.
Even how many?
7,000.
And who else?
And craftsmen and smiths 1,000. All that were strong and apt
And
for war.
apt for war.
Even them the king of Babylon brought captive to Babylon.
That's the only apt that you'll find with the meaning in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Click on it. 6213, is that right?
Yeah.
And what's it takes you to? But no etymology. To do what? To do.
To do.
To
Accomplish.
accomplish.
Make.
To make, do work, to work,
Yeah.
to prepare, to produce.
Produce.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
To appoint and to ordain. Huh? Is that what is there? That means what you think is an ant in Proverbs 6:6 is not the insect. And the reason why you thought that is because you studied that. And it took you to an ant of the insect. But what you should have known was that it's not an ant. It's something to cut. It was something that was cut off. Something that was cut off that would make you work and produce. But you wouldn't do that because you're a sluggard. You wouldn't even consider it. That's why you're not wise. Why? You became idle. I'm going to show you in a minute. It's not an ant. It's a suffix. It's an A-N-T suffix. You thought it was ant. Because you thought because of her ways. You think, what, it's a queen ant? The queen don't work. See, this got work here. So if it's an ant, then how come it say to work? The queens don't work. That's under apt of the Old Testament. The New Testament, the New Testament have 2, but that's the only one of the Old Testament with a meaning under H 6213. When you look at 1 Chronicles chapter 7 verse 4, you look at it. Go back to it.
Yeah.
Or did you finish that?
Okay.
Okay. That means those who were taken to Babylon are supposed to be working. And they were taken captive and brought to this baby land, Judah. But they're not working. Why? Because they're sluggards. They became a sluggard. Wouldn't even consider her ways. Even if they were told to go. See, you thought it was go to the ants. So what they did, even back in the days, some in particular, they went to and studied the ants. They went to dictionaries to study the ant. I will see study here in verse 6 of Proverbs chapter 6. I don't see the word study there. It said go. But they went and studied the ant. They find out how the ant works all summer, storing up food for the winter. And that's what they're doing. And that's where they get that meaning of prepare. But how you going to get that out of her? He didn't say his ways. So her ways. Consider it. So that's not the ant. See, the P is there instead of the N. That means someone came along in 1979 to teach you what the ant is. but you didn't learn. Why? Because you studied. Go to the next one. Go read that under.
First Chronicles.
Yeah.
40.
All what?
All these were the children of Asher, heads of their father's house, choice and mighty men of valor, chief of the princes, and the number throughout the genealogy of them that were apt to the war and to
See,
battle.
there's no meaning with that apt. To the war and to battle for 20 and 6,000 men. Go to 1 Timothy chapter 3 and read verse 2.
A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach.
Okay, what's that apt?
No,
There's no meaning.
no meaning.
What about 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 24?
And the servant of the Lord must
The
not.
what?
The servant.
Write that word down. So you, in order to become apt, sluggard, and to work, you must serve. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, we write that down. And then the root word of serve is, the root word of servant is serve. We're going to come back to that. Read verse 24 again.
And the servant of the Lord must not strive, but be gentle unto all men, apt to teach, patient.
Patient. Huh?
Yeah.
Apt to teach, and patient. Okay. Write down patient. You got it from left to right. P-A-T-I-E-N-T. You got it?
Okay.
Now write it down. Write it down again next to it, but this time instead of putting the E, put the A. And how you pronounce that? So which one is it? What's the last last three letters?
A-N-T.
What A and T spell?
Ant.
It's not insect. It's a condition that you must go to.
Wow.
Sluggard. Apt to teach. But something happened. Now go to Proverbs 6:6. Something happened to my people. Even those who were around my father when he was here. Left Miami. They all left Miami. Those who were born and raised here, they stayed. They have no other. They know no other home. They're afraid to go across the county line. They feel they get lost if they go across the county line. So they stay right here, Miami-Dade County, Broward State. Don't cross the state line. They go up to New Smyrna Beach or someplace to stay with a relative. They go to Orlando and start another temple. Some go to Georgia and another state and start another temple. Some go to Texas where it's storming and dangerous right now and continue some kind of foundation. Some go to Detroit, start building new houses, bring on some more Babylon mania. Isn't that amazing? Why? Sluggards. Read it, Proverbs 6:6.
Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise.
You didn't even see that. All you did was go to the ant in your dictionaries, encyclopedias. Not even realizing that at 6:6. First word is go. Or am I correct?
Yeah.
You haven't studied go. How are you going to go and you hadn't studied go? See, studied. There's no such thing as study. You hadn't researched go. Go to your search box and type in go. First word is go. And what you did? You didn't go. You stood still. You sat right there, idled. You didn't go. Concordance. Even from 1980, when he told you to go, you didn't go. My father told him in 1980, go to the ant. They didn't go. What you have for go under 32:12? Is it come
It's
up?
pulling up.
It's pulling up. Okay.
To go, walk.
Wait.
Come,
To go and do what?
walk.
You're not even walking. Walk in the light. And what's the last word?
Come.
Come. CAME. L. Camel. Come all. Come, gods. The word said go, the first word. The first word of Proverbs 6:6 says go. Here you have something that says come. Come where? To Miami. But I don't want to. Look at the other meanings. Look at the next meaning on the call. What?
To go.
To go and what?
Walk.
You said that.
Come.
You said that. Do what?
Depart.
Depart from where you are. And come. Proceed south, where I am. Even if you have to move. And just tell everybody, I'm just go away. But you're not going to do that. Why? Sluggard.
Mhm.
Because if you don't come or go and come where I am, proceed and move to where I am, the next meaning is going to tell you what's going to happen to you. The first two words say what?
To die.
You're going to die. But if you don't die, you have the opportunity to what?
Live.
Live. And what kind of life?
A manner of
A
life.
manner of life. That way, you would do what?
To lead.
To lead. As I do what?
Bring.
Bring you. And lead you away. Huh? Lead away. Right?
Carry.
And carry you away.
And cause
And
to walk.
cause you to come out your grave, come out your grave and walk. Because you were lame. You're lame-minded. So I'll cause you to walk. That comes from ant. Or did you know that? Yeah, it's coming from the same word, go. Oh, you know it comes from ant?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you. But you got to be apt to teach. The other means, the word go appears 1,400 times. Like Christopher Columbus went from Colombia, South America, and traveled all the way through these waters, and they say he landed here in 1492. Huh? That's what they say.
Know what they say.
Well, the word go appears 1,492 times in the Bible. Print it. Don't you see it?
Yeah.
You also have a meaning in undergo under 332:12. That's the same one.
Yeah.
Go to 3051. You go to 3050 H32 3051.
And to give.
To give.
Provide.
Now Proverbs 6:6 says, go to who? Go what?
Go to the ant.
It's not just ant.
The ant.
You have to find the ant, not just any ant. You have to go to the ant, which is a series followed after a. Ant. You have the ant. You in the definition of the, you have what for the definition of the?
The definition of the we had denoting one or more people or things already mentioned. Or
So you have to
assumed.
go to the one that's already mentioned that is going to take you to ant. One already mentioned is going to take you to ant that you got to go to or come to who's going to take you to ant. One already mentioned. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Okay, let me say that because you have to come or go or move to and proceed to one already mentioned, so it's going to take you right to ant. But you got to move to do that. But you're not going to, because the next part of ant is what? After ant, thou who? Slugger.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. You're not doing it. You know why they're not doing it? Because they're holding on the heels of Dan, who's become a serpent. I left word with Yaakov thousands of years ago to gather yourselves together and tell your sons that which shall befall them in the last days. But it's not them that I was targeting. It was their names that I was targeting, and the meaning of what their names would mean that I was targeting. Even Dan. And Dan followed me from that book to Judges book, chapter 18. Even as a horse. Already mentioned, the horse. That Dan became the horse heel. On the heel of the horse. Coming right after me. Go back to Proverbs 6:6 for a moment. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, read it again.
Go to the ant.
Go to a particular one already mentioned, who's going to take you to A-N-T, which is a suffix. But you're not going. Why? Because you're what? Thou what?
Sluggard.
Now you got to find out what the sluggard is. Type it in. Sluggard. I guarantee you the only place you're going to find that word in so many times and so many prints is in Proverbs book only. And don't tell me you find it there 6 times. And don't tell me with the first verse you find it in.
Wow.
What is it?
Proverbs 6:6, 6 times.
6 times. Lazy, sluggish. Is that what it says? Under what? H6102.
6102.
Hmm?
And sluggish, lazy.
Atziel. ACL, that's how I pronounce it in Hebrew. Atziel.
Yeah.
That's not where it comes from. What it says? Lazy and sluggish.
Yeah.
That's not where it comes from. Did you know that?
Yeah. Page 6101.
Yeah. Go to the etymology. And what do you have?
To be sluggish. They also have to lean idly.
To do what?
Lean idly.
Exactly. Idly. See, they're idle.
To be indolent or slack.
Did I mention indolent?
Yeah.
There it is. To be slack. And you know how it happened? Because of Dan, I left word that in the last days it would be like this by the son named Dan in the Bible, Yaakov, Israel. But you know what he did? Dan looked for idols. I-D-O-L, and he also became I-D-L-E. He took, and I confounded him. I'm here to tell you today. I confounded him with the I-D-L-E, opposed to I-D-O-L in English translation. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they took it out of my house. I had something waiting on them. So they became idle. That's why they can't move. And every idol became slug. Go to Proverbs. Where you see sluggard? Do you see Proverbs chapter 19? For sluggard?
Low Proverbs 20, Proverbs 10.
And you don't see Proverbs 19.
Low.
You know why? Because it became an idol. It became idled. They couldn't move any forward. Go to Proverbs chapter 19 and read verse 15. They're in a deep sleep. Now you fulfill Isaiah chapter 29. They're in a spirit of deep sleep.
Slothfulness.
What?
Yeah.
And what? See,
Sloth-
slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep.
yeah.
And what?
And an idle soul shall suffer hunger.
Got it? That's idle. That you come from another meaning. They got another meaning. Right? Lame. Also there it says to be stupid. Look, I'm not. Go back to sluggard. Go back to H 6101. See if you don't see a meaning says to be stupid. To be indolent.
Yeah.
Go to the Briggs lexicon, the Brown Driver Briggs lexicon, and see if you don't find it there to be stupid or be stupid.
Can't we see it? Be stupid.
Yeah, they're stupid. Now go to the Gesenius Hebrew Chaldee lexicon.
Yeah.
What's the first word? Gesenius.
Yeah.
And if you move the U of Gesenius, what you have? Genesis.
Mhm. Genesis. Yeah.
So read that lexicon. What's under the lexicon?
It says a root not used to be a leisure, to lead to neglect. The primary idea appears to be that of laxity and languor.
Sluggish. And then what was hidden in the Nathal meaning is to be what?
Slothful.
And what reference they give you in scripture?
Judges 18.
Judges 18:19. To 18:9.
Yeah.
Now it's going to take you back to the stupid, to be stupid. You see Gesenius, right?
Yeah.
And you remove the U, you get what?
Genesis.
Now go to Genesis chapter 49. Genesis chapter 49. And look at verse 17. Who's the first word you see there?
First
What
word,
you think?
first word is Dan.
Dan. Read verse 1 and 2 first before you, so people can know what this prophet is referring to. How it's popped up today.
And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
When?
The last days.
Which is when?
Right now.
Now. Verse 2.
Gather yourselves together and hear,
Together? Go ahead. What?
ye sons of Jacob.
That means all together, all 12 together is going to create prophetical prophecies and metaphors and allegoricals and symbols and secrets that are meant for now. That was hidden in the word, the scrolls that I gave to Yaakov to tell them. They thought they would want to be here. They're not. Ma'ab, when he came in 1979, he called a few of them by these names. Sons of Jacob. That includes Judah, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Reuben, all here. Read verse 2 again.
Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father.
Now you go all the way down from verse 3. You got Reuben. There's no Hebrew tribe of Israelites. There's no Israelites tribe that's called Lavi. There's no Lavi and there's no Lawi. I mean, there's no Levi, no Lavi. There's no V. It's Wab, Lawib, Lawib, Lawib. Guys, there's no V. They cut the W in half. They're like they cut the truth. All right? Now go on to 17. Now go to verse 17 and read what happened to Dan.
Dan shall be a serpent by the way.
What? This is Genesis. And Dan became a serpent, by the way, from Genesis to Judges. And what? An adder in the path. That what?
Biteth the horse heels, so that his rider shall fall backward.
What? And that's what they did. They went backward. Instead of forward, they went backward. And some are idle, I-D-L-E. And they're worshiping I-D-O-L. That's how they become idolaters, and they're going to suffer and die because they're going to be destroyed. You see horse there?
Yeah.
Okay, go to your concordance, your search box, right? And type in horse without being plural. Just one horse. Like stud. Right? Horse. I guarantee you, of all the time that it's printed in the King James Version, this is the first verse is found.
It's true. Genesis 49:17.
The very first verse. No etymology. You want to know why? Because the meaning is dubious. Swallow and swift. They mean Dan will become a swift serpent swallowing the dust of the earth.
Wow.
That's what he's doing now. And all of them that are following. Let's prove it. They followed him. They even took and tried to take away Micah. Gods. They wanted to take away Micah's camels. Those that came with Micah as gods. Camels. The gods of Micah. They came with him. They wanted to take them. Invaded his house. Told you to go to Judges, didn't they? Okay. Now, before we do, we have horse. That's not horse. That's what you see. You see 5 letters of English. Actually 4. One's a symbol. The O is not a letter, it's a symbol. So you see 4 letters that are in order from left to right, juxtaposed together, side by side. And you think it's horse. Each letter is a word. This word is scientifically composed of letters. And when I say scientifically, they possess chemical elements. These letters are chemical elements. Is that right? Write it down. I'm sharing with the world. I know I share with you privately, but I got to give to those who refuse to come. Why? Because they're idle. They're sluggish. They won't come. So I'm giving them another. I'm not giving them another chance. I didn't want to come on here. My father said, give them another chance, because we're here. We're walking around on the planet right now. I set my celestial beings to walk around them, 10 feet high, 10 feet tall. Tell them to come. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise. But they don't want to be wise. They want to stay to themselves. They want to be wise in their own eyes. They want to do what they think is right in their own eyes. The first character you think is horse, scientifically is H, is hydrogen. That's hydrogen. That represents what? Water. And the second is what? A symbol for O, what? Oxygen. And the atomic number, the atom number for hydrogen is 1. And the atomic number for oxygen is what? 8. Times 2, 16. H2O. And you have what? S. Actually, you have the S, yeah, the R. The R is what? Radiant. Chemical element. Radiant gives us what? The light. Children of the light. Gods who came with me of the light. Children of the light. Is that right? The S is what? Celestial. There is no more sea. I did away with sea. I said there'd be no more sea. Right? Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. There's no more C. So we do what? S. How are you going to get celestial out of C? Out of C. And the last one what? E? Right back to eternal. Eternity. Eternity. Is that right?
That's right.
Yes, again, you get the STUD with the Y chromosome, and they think it's study. That horse is the same as a stud. Is that right?
That's right.
Then you have the Y after the stud. That's not a Y. It's a chemical element that produces iode, which equals silver. The silver is mine, and the yttrium,
Yeah.
or the ytterbium of the YB chromosome, the YB chemical element, YB, of which the atomic number of YB, the ytterbium, is 70. Go look at the chemical elements and see. That produces silver. I think it's horse. Ain't horse. Go to Judges chapter 18. Let's see what happens. Go to Judges chapter 17 first. We haven't looked up sluggard yet, did we?
We looked it up.
Tell you lately, you looked up some of it. You haven't really looked it up yet. Read verse 1 of Judges chapter 17.
And there was a man of Mount Ephraim, whose name was Micah.
That's the same one, the Morasite. Do you hear what I'm telling you right now?
Yeah.
That's the same Micah. The same yesterday, today, and forever. The Morasite they got from Mount Ephraim. And what else it says?
And he said unto his mother, the 1,100 shekels of silver that were taken from thee, about which thou cursest.
Shekels of what?
Silver.
From the ytterbium, silver, the Y. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. We know that testimony, not the subject. Read verse 6 of that same chapter.
In those days there was no king in Israel, but every man did that which was right in his own eyes.
And that's exactly what they're doing today. But it was right in their own eyes. Is that right?
That's right.
When you went to Sluggard, it took you to Idle?
Idly.
That's I-D-L-E.
Yeah, ideally.
Come from Idle.
Yeah.
Go to your search box and type in Idle. It's printed 11 times in the King James Version Bible.
Times.
Look at the H7503. So you can see why they're not coming to Micah and why they're sluggish. They refrain themselves from me. They are relaxed.
Sink down.
Yeah, sink down.
Okay.
See what it says to refrain? And let him alone.
Yeah.
Let alone. To let drop. No etymology. Feeble-minded. You see it?
Yeah.
Cease. Slack. And it takes you right back to Judges chapter 19. Verse 9. That's under idle. Now I go to chapter 18 of Judges. Read verse 1.
In those days, there was no king in Israel.
You said that. You mean there's still no king? What else?
And in those days, the tribe of the Danites sought them an inheritance to dwell in.
Why?
For unto that day all the inheritance had not fallen unto them among the tribes of Israel.
Keep reading.
And the children of Dan sent of their family 5 men from their coast, men of valor, from Zorah and from Eshtaol to spy out the land and to search it.
Mm-hmm.
And they said unto them, Go, search the land. Who, when they came to Mount Ephraim, to the house of Micah, they
They
lodged
came
there.
to the house of Micah
Yeah,
and they lodged there.
yeah.
And what else?
When they were by the house of Micah, they knew the voice of the young man, the Levite.
That young man who took on a priesthood character came as Moses Israel, the Levite.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know who he was. He was incognito. Then became a priest to Micah. And then what happened?
And they turned in thither, and said unto him, Who brought thee hither? And what makest thou in this place? And what hast thou here?
Read.
And he said unto them,
What?
Thus and thus dealeth Micah with me.
Thus and thus. Both of us.
Capital T, lowercase t.
Dealeth Micah with me. Not me with Micah.
Right.
Do they see that? Micah with me. Right? Me is not with Micah. Micah with me. I mean, Micah say what I say do. I don't do what Micah say do. And Micah is saying, is doing what he say do today. Micah with me. And what?
And have hired me.
See, how could Micah be with me and hire me at the same time? That don't sound right. It sounds like since Micah with me, then he should have hired Micah. Huh? He hired me. That means what? Micah became a heir of him. So you got hired. All you see is hired. You haven't researched hire. H-I-R-E. Hmm? You don't see it's an H there instead of M. Admire. You see hire. Have you ever researched hire? Okay. You haven't. If you see hire, then you just find that hire is a passage. Go to hire. 7939H7939. And you see that it's a passage. A way to pass by through without money. They put money. But you shall be redeemed without money. And then in the translators of King James. Because Micah in his book says something about hiring someone. Passage. You're looking for passage. So Micah is with me to show you the passageway to get to me. Go back, read, finish. And don't forget, they knew his voice.
Yeah.
They hear his voice today on recordings. They knew his voice.
And I am his priest.
Okay. I'm his priest. 5.
And they said unto him, Ask counsel, we pray thee, of God, that we may know whether our way which we shall go be prosperous.
Read on.
And the priest said unto them, Go in peace.
Go in shalom. All right? Go in shalom. Before what?
The Lord is your way wherein ye go.
Okay.
Then the 5 men departed and came to Laish, and saw the people that were therein, how they dwelt careless, after the manner of the Zidonians.
Read verse. Go ahead.
Quiet and secure, and there was no magistrate in the land.
Read verse 11.
And there went from thence of the family of the Danites, out of Zorah, and out of Eshtaol, 600 men appointed with weapons of war.
Look what they had. What you need all those men for with weapons of war to come after Micah? We look at verse 13 and see where they went.
And they passed thence unto Mount Ephraim, and came unto the house
Look
of
at
Micah.
all those men come to Micah's house with all those weapons.
Wow.
Read 14.
Then answered the 5 men that went to spy out the country of Laish, and said unto their brethren, Do ye know that there is in these houses an ephod, and teraphim, and a graven image, and a molten image?
That graven image comes from a spaceship.
Mm.
So you think because it's graven image, you think it's evil and wicked. No, Micah didn't have that kind of stuff in his house. He had gods in his house. Camels came with me. Gods that came with me.
Mm.
And what else?
Now therefore consider what ye have to do. And they turned thitherward, and came to the house of the young man the Levite, even unto the house of Micah.
Who Micah was with. And salute who?
Him.
They salute the young man. Shalom, Mak Moshe. Shalom, Mak Moshe. Shalom, Brother Moses. Shalom, Yahweh. Shalom, Yahweh. Shalom, Yahshua, our Messiah. They know his voice. Verse 16.
And the 600 men.
How many?
600.
That's a lot of men. They did what?
Appointed with their weapons of war, which were of the children of Dan.
Now you see who they were? The horses here. The horse here. They stood by what?
The entering of the gate.
And what happened in 17?
And the 5 men that went to spy out the land went up, and came in thither, and took the graven image, and the ephod, and the teraphim, and the molten image. And the priest stood in the entering of the gate with 600 men that were appointed with weapons
Good
of
gracious.
war.
Verse 18.
And these went into Micah's house, and
They
fetched,
did. And did what?
and fetched the carved image, the ephod, and the teraphim, and the molten image. Then said the priest unto them, What do ye?
What are y'all doing? Read 19.
And they said unto him, Hold thy peace.
Hold on now. We don't have no beef against you.
Mm.
Why? What?
Lay thy hand upon thy mouth.
You just be quiet. Mind your business.
Yeah.
What? You know who you talking to? And what?
And go with us,
Just come with us. And what?
and be to us a father and a priest.
But I chose Micah to be a father. I can't have all of y'all as a son.
Only begotten.
And then they ask what?
Is it better for thee to be a priest unto the house of one man?
One man. See the jealousy? Now you see how it came about.
Now I see it, right?
Or,
That thou be a priest unto a tribe and a family in Israel.
read 20.
And the priest's heart was glad, and he took the ephod and the teraphim and the graven image, and went in the midst of the people. So they
And you know why he did it? To protect Micah.
Right.
Because they were there to kill Micah and take him anyway. But to protect Micah, he became the priest.
He did.
To protect Micah and the children in the future. He became who they thought Micah was. And what?
So they turned and departed,
See? And then what? Read on.
put the little ones and the cattle and the carriage before them.
Go ahead, read on.
And when they were a good way from the house of Micah,
What happened?
the men that were in the houses near to Micah's house were gathered together,
And what?
and overtook the children of Dan.
Oh, you see what happened? And what happened?
And they cried unto the children of Dan, and they turned their faces, and said unto Micah,
Oh, so Micah was still there. And said what?
What aileth thee, that thou comest with such a company?
Yeah, why are all these men? And what?
And he said, Ye have taken away my gods.
See? The L's? You take away my gods, which I made.
And the priest.
And the priest. And what?
And ye are gone away.
And
And what have I more? And what is this that ye say unto me, What aileth thee?
read 25.
And the children of Dan said unto him,
What they said?
Let not thy voice
I
be
said,
heard
"Shut
among
up."
us.
You said shut up. And that's what?
Angry fellows run upon thee, and thou lose thy life
They'll kill you. And who else?
with the lives of thy household.
The whole house. We'll kill you and your whole family. Shut up. 26.
And the children of Dan went their way.
And what happened to Micah?
And when Micah saw that they were too strong for him,
You think he crazy or stupid? See, it says stupid in the meaning, but that's not Micah who's stupid. So what he did?
he turned and went back unto his house.
Who house?
His house.
And what happened in 27?
And they took the things which Micah had made, and the priests which he had, and came unto Laish, unto a people that were acquired and secured.
Uh-huh.
They
What?
smote them with the edge
I
of
mean,
the
these
sword.
people, they did nothing to them, but they still killed them with the sword. Quiet and minding their own business. They say Dan would be evil, a serpent.
Serpent.
Here it is. And what?
And burnt the city with
They
fire.
burnt this. If they're evil or wicked or what? These people did nothing to them. Go ahead, read.
And there was no deliverer, because it was far
See?
from Zidon.
See? And they what?
And they had no business with any man. And it was in the valley that lieth by Beth Rehob.
Mm-hmm.
And they built a city and dwelt therein.
Read the rest. The 29 what?
And they called the name of the city
They would
Dan.
change the name to Dan. They took it over. After what?
The name of Dan, their father,
Right. Same one. He's the same one that was what?
born unto Israel.
Right. That's the same Dan. I told you it was going to happen in the last days. It is happening now too. See, that wasn't the last days. This is for now. This is prophetical. Howbeit what?
The name of the city was Laish at the first.
Uh-huh.
And the children of Dan set up the graven image.
And did what?
And Jonathan, the son of Gershon, the son of Manasseh, he and his sons were priests to the tribe of Dan until the day of the captivity of the land.
Right. See, Manasseh's here too. And how do we get to Shiloh? Read verse 31, the last verse.
And they set them up Micah's graven image, which he made, all the time that the house of God was in Shiloh.
That's where it was all the time, Shiloh.
Wow.
The lawgiver, all the time. Huh? And if you, now by the time you get to verse 19, Micah disappeared. Did you know that? Micah disappeared. What happened to Micah? They couldn't find Micah. They couldn't find him. They even went in his house. They saw him go in the house. Huh? Yeah. You will not find Micah in chapter 19. Now go back. Go back to Proverbs 6:6. Let's see what the secret is of Adam. The secret of Adam's ant. Read it again. Read it again. Now, are you getting a better perception now with this? Now let's break it down. Read it again.
Go to the ant.
See, first you must go to the ant, the A-N-T. Go to the suffix. Go to the suffix and find out what the suffix of ant is and how they connect it to go. Because, right, you're sluggard. You're not going to do it, thou sluggard. And all you have to do is consider her ways. I mean, perceive. At least have a vision. Consider her ways and be wise. Was considered. That's hidden under H 7200. Go to it, read it. See 7200? That's opposite, reverse of 27. To see and perceive.
Yeah.
To present oneself from being invisible. And to be exhibited. Would you consider? They wouldn't even consider. So you have to find out what you mean consider. We got sluggard, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing that you must consider is which her is this. You have to consider her ways. What's considered? You got 7,200? We read it. What's it say? What's the meanings?
We have to see, look at, inspect, perceive, consider. We also have to regard, look at.
Would you even regard? Would you consider regarding if you learn something?
We have learned in the very next. Learn about.
See, learn.
Observe.
I'm not looking at it. I just.
Yeah, give attention to.
But
Discern.
okay, who? Her ways.
Yeah.
Okay, so now come out of that. Go to your search box and type in her ways. Which her ways? Right, go to that, right? And don't click on it, but go back to your Bible and turn to Revelation chapter 18. And read verse 4. Maybe I should read that. Follow me. I have to read that. Follow me to Revelation chapter 18. And I'm going to read verse 4 because one of the most powerful keys in the Bible that comes from the key of David that I have the key of hell and of death. I also possess the key of David. I gave you that the other day in the other testimony. But one of the most powerful keys is the STUD and the Y that you think is study. It's not. You say 2 Timothy 2, say study. That's what the Greeks gave you. Verse 4 says in Revelation chapter 18, and I heard another voice from heaven. This voice come from heaven. It come from heaven. It's not with heaven, out of heaven. Huh? This God came from heaven, saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, in plural, and that you receive not of her plagues, in plural. That means this her cannot be a good her. This her is a sinner, and she's got plagues coming her way. In fact, there are more plagues coming her way. She's already been plagued. Now, you went to the search box, you put her ways. Now, who is this her ways? What you come with? Type in. You should come to Proverbs chapter 3, verse 17 first. Who ways should you consider? Her ways. Consider her ways. Who ways? Couldn't be that way. We just read Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. Her way is evil and wicked and sinful. So that's not her way. But here's her ways. Her ways are what? Pleasantness. Or do you see it? That's Proverbs chapter 3, verse 17. Read it. Her ways are what?
Pleasantness.
Read it down.
And her paths are peace.
Okay. Now, what's the word begin with P? First one?
Pleasantness.
That's please. That's please the ant. See the ant? That's a suffix. Pleasantness. Go to the ant. That's your first ant. Pleasantness. And all her right, because all her paths are peace. Would you at least consider being pleasant dance with her and have peace in your paths? And then be wise? Go to the next one. Proverbs 5:6.
Lest thou shouldest ponder the path of life,
Uh-huh.
her ways are movable, that thou canst not know them.
What? See, her ways are movable. That means you could, remember we meant to move? Go. Move. They're movable. Don't you see ant is hidden and canst?
Yeah.
C-A-N-S-T? That's another ant hidden and canst with the S there, with the sun. If you remove the S and you put just the C there, you think it's cat. No. That's the C. That means see the ant. You see it?
Yeah.
And of course you come to Proverbs 6:6. Read verse Proverbs chapter 7.
Let not thine heart decline to her ways. Go not astray in her path.
Now this is an evil her. If you read all of that chapter of 7, you'll find this her is not. This her is like the one in Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. Now go to the last her ways. And Jeremiah, remember Jeremiah chapter 2?
Verse 23.
And what does it say?
How canst thou say, I am not polluted? I have not gone after Balaam. See thy way in the valley, know what thou hast done. Thou art swift, thou art a swift dromedary.
See, the dromedary right there? That dromedary one.
Okay.
That's what we went to get that one.
Mhm.
With what?
Traversing her ways.
Right. That means that swift is powerful. This is not a bad her.
Okay.
This is not a bad her. And Proverbs 6 and 6 says what? Go to the A-N-T, the suffix. You lazy man, you lazy women, you sluggards, you're idle. You don't want to move forward. You just want to stay where you are. You won't even, will you even consider her ways? If you do, and be wise. So let's go to the A-N-T. These A-N-T, I'm not going, that's another subject. This A-N-T comes from 10 horns of the one with the crown of Revelation chapter 19.
No.
Just go to Revelation chapter 19 very quickly. And then you'll see in verse 12. Actually, look at verse 1. Revelation chapter 19, look at verse 1.
And after these things I heard a great voice of much people in heaven saying, Alleluia, salvation and glory and honor and power unto the Lord our God.
Read verse 11. Well, actually, read verse 9. And I told you to write.
And he said unto me, Write.
Right.
Blessed,
Good. Go ahead.
blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said unto me, These are the true sayings of God.
I told you at the beginning that it's true. Go back up to verse 8 a bit. Read that, verse 8.
And to her was
See,
granted,
this is the good her. This is the good her. Her ways was what? Was granted what?
that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white.
For what?
For the fine linen is the righteousness of saints.
This the clique. Would you consider her ways? Her ways. Not no queen ant. Consider her ways. Now read verse 11. Like you've already read that.
No. And I saw heaven opened.
Well, no, you might as well read verse. You read verse 9.
Okay.
Read verse 10.
And I fell at his feet to worship
The
him.
same feet as a her.
And he said unto me,
See thou do it not. Why, I am thy fellow servant. A fellow what?
servant.
You didn't know the mystery of that. It's cryptic. Now you see serve ant. See the ant? Go to the ant. And of thy brethren that have the testimony of the Christ. See, this is the one who was my witness. Remember, I went, my angel?
Mhm.
This is not the Christ who said this. I'm not, but this is a fellow servant ant, because he went to the ant, and they're here with me now. They went to the ant. Who? Fellow servant ant, and have the what? Testimony of who?
Christ.
So worship God. You worship Ab. What and for what?
The testimony of Christ is the spirit of prophecy.
You got it. Now read verse 11.
And I saw heaven opened, and behold a white horse.
See the horse? White. Dromedary. Full of chemical elements. Each letter is a word. And he what?
That sat upon him was called faithful,
Faithful
and true.
and true. Remember tree is in there true?
Mhm.
And faithful of faith. And what?
In
See the righteousness of R? He what?
doth judge and make war,
And his eyes what?
was a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns.
Now how many? Do you see it? Look at my head. Look at my head. Look at my head. How many? Then say you think it's 7. I mean you think it was like 12 or count it. Look how many. From right to left. Look how many. On his head. Shiny. And what?
And he had a name written
That's it. That what?
that no man knew
But who?
but he himself.
My aunt told me this. I don't really want to do this. It's right in their face and they don't know it. They can't. He told them in the recording. Though the question is, who are they looking for to come? See, there ain't nobody but Yahweh but Yahweh. This is 2024. He ascended. He took that body and did what he wanted to do with that vessel and burned it, and he's there now. And they're looking for him in that body from 2007. Is that 17 years? May 7th, 2024? That'd be 17 years. Who are they waiting for to come? And here we are now at the end of the world. Here we are now with celestial Hebrew beings walking the planet. And our ships are hovering above this planet right now, even over Washington, D.C. I have a ship right now hovering above the White House in Washington, D.C. right now. More than one. They took this off YouTube, but we still stream it live on Facebook. We on Facebook. Right now.
Yeah,
Facebook is still out. That's what they're saying. I beg to differ. That's probably because they think I'm going. Yeah, see, it's still streaming. No connection. It's okay, no connection. YouTube. YouTube is still streaming. I mean, Facebook is still streaming.
Yeah, Facebook's still on.
Okay, and what else? The name written that no one knew but he himself.
Yeah.
I brought the name with me. Read 13.
And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood.
Said blood of the Lamb, the red of Adam. And what? His name is what?
Called the Word of God.
Made flesh. And read 14.
And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses.
Now you got the white horses with me. Clothing fine linen, white and clean. And what?
Out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God.
Do they see this? Go ahead, and what?
And he had on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, Go and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God.
Goodness gracious. Go ahead.
That ye may eat the flesh of kings and the flesh of captains.
And that's exactly what we're doing. Go ahead, and what?
And the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them
The
that
flesh
sit
of
on them.
horses. And then that's sitting literally on a horse. You're sitting on the meanings of it now, the mystery, the secret. And what?
And the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. And I saw the beast, and the kings of the earth, and their armies, gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse,
Okay.
and against his army.
Okay, now go to chapter 17, Genesis. Go back to, as I take you in the spirit. They say consider her ways. Go to the ant. Go to the A-N-T. Consider her ways and be wise. You thou sluggard. Consider her way, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you have? Are you in chapter 17? Read verse 3. Let me carry away the spirit. Not yet?
Or Revelation.
Revelation. What did I say? Revelation. Last one. First shall be last. Last shall be first. Revelation. Last. Last days. Read verse 3.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness.
I'm doing it now. And what you saw?
And I saw a woman.
See the woman? Consider her ways. So Revelation is a secret. You saw a woman, and what she had on?
Sit upon a scarlet colored beast.
I'm wearing a scarlet purple. And the beast is me. Full of what?
Names of blasphemy.
And the names I'm sitting on are full of blasphemy. You got that right. Having what?
7 heads and 10 horns.
The 7 heads from the 7 chapters of Micah. The 7 spirits with 10 horns of the ant. So consider her ways and be wise. Now write them down because I'm about to close. Real quickly, I'm going to give you the 7 horns of the ant. Of the 10 horns of the ant. Right?
Yeah.
What? Adam, blood, Adam's ant. The secret of Adam ant. 10 horns. Of course, the first ant is serve. S-E-R-V-E, right? Ant. Servant. We'll go with scriptures later. In order to do that, the second ant would be O-B, O-B-D, O-B-E-D-I, and then add A-N-T, obedient. You got to be obedient. Huh? Obedient. And then you must be a part of the habit, H-A-B-I-T, habitant, the habit ant. Got to make it a habit. Habit ant. You got to be in my dwelling. Habit ant. You got it?
Yeah.
Then you become part of me. Participant. P-A-R-T-I-C-I-P-A-N-T. Participant. A-N-T. A participant. Right? And then when you dwell in me as a habitant, you become, now write this down, T-E-N, that's the 10 horns, T-E-N, and then add A-N-T at the end of that, so you become a 10 ant. You become a 10 ant, a tenant. Once you do that and come to the kingdom, you must also be a defend, right? D-E-F-E-N-D-A-N-T, a defendant. Well, you're a defender because of the Satan. He got you as a hostage. You're defending yourself. Defendant. And what do? Assist me. So write down A-S-S-I-S-T-A-N-T. Assistant. You can't help me, but you can assist. Now you become an assistant. On account of what? When you work for a penny, you become an accountant. Write that down. A-C-C-O-U-N-T-A-N-T. An accountant. Learning knowledge. Now, let me pause here for a moment and show you what that is. Go to Daniel chapter 1. Go to Daniel chapter 1. Let me show you what that is hidden. Cunning and knowledge of science. An accountant. Go to the ant. Consider her ways. Read verse chapter 1, verse 2.
And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, with part of the vessels of the house of God.
Really? Which what?
Which he carried into the land of Shinar, to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels into the treasure.
The treasure, you know what treasures and treasure? Wealth and money. You have to become an accountant in the house of his God. And verse 3.
And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of the eunuchs, that he should...
That's the eunuchs.
That he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes.
Go ahead.
Children in whom was no blemish, but well favored, and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans.
You got it? Now go to Matthew chapter 18. This is accounting. I told you that before. Matthew chapter 18. Read verse 23. That's the kingdom, right?
Okay.
I see you inhabitant of my kingdom. I said account, right?
Yeah.
So accountant. But in order to be accountant, you got to account. Read verse 23, Matthew chapter 18.
Therefore, the kingdom of heaven.
No, therefore is.
Therefore is, Salaki, the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain,
A certain king. Coming from now Daniel chapter 12. That what?
which
Oh,
would
chapter
take,
1. Sorry. Daniel chapter 12. Daniel chapter 1. What?
which would take account of his servants.
Oh, you got account and servants?
Yeah.
Accountant, servant. You see account.
Account.
Read, go to 1 Peter. Verse 1 Peter chapter, well, no, Hebrews chapter 13. Hebrews, read verse 17, so we can we'll see where obey come in at, and account.
Seven or 17. What verse?
17. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 17. Obey what?
Obey them.
Obedient. Go to the ant. Obedient. And then what?
That have the rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls.
Do you see this?
Yeah.
And what?
As they that must give account,
Accountant that
that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you.
do you see that? Unprofitable for you. You got to obey it. What they didn't do was put accountant, and they didn't put A and T at the end of account. Go to Isaiah chapter 33 and look at verse 18. Isaiah chapter 33.
Thine heart shall meditate terror. Where's the scribe? Where's the receiver? Where is he that counted the towers?
You know they counted the tower. You know what that is? They counted. See, they put counted.
Yeah.
Okay, go to your search box of your concordance and type in accountant and see where that takes you to.
CSB Bible.
Right, and read where it takes you to. It's the same. They know this. They just didn't let you know.
In Isaiah 33:18.
That you just read it. Read it.
Okay. Your mind will meditate on the past terror. Where's the accountant?
Sure, right. See, same thing. A-N-T. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise. You should have, how many you have on that? 9, right? How many?
Eight.
You have 8? Look at it again.
We have 8 going on.
Going on 9. Okay. Name them.
Servant, obedient, habitant, participant, tenant, defendant, assistant, accountant.
Number 9 is S-T-U-D-A-N-T. And then short to them as it exists. The stud ant. Same as I became a stud ant. You become a stud ant.
There it is.
And you see, it's such a word.
It is.
Stud ant, stud ant. Now I'm going to give you the last one. The last one is hidden under bore. Write down, no, you don't write down bore. Go to your search box, your course, and type in B-O-R-E. B-O-R-E. Bore. What is synonymous to bore? B-O-R-E. Instead of bore a hole, what would you do today to a hole? How would you get a hole? Instead, no, through wood. If you're going to bore a hole through wood, how would you do it? Try drill. Right? Drill. Drill. Okay. So go. You look. You got B-O-R-E?
Can we got one? 2 times.
Go. We go to the one that's in what? Job.
Job 41:2.
Read that one.
Canst thou put an hook into his nose, or bore his jaw through with a thorn?
Now, how would you bore? If not bore, what would you use? Drill. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So go to your Bible and type in, your concordance and type in drill. Not there, is it? When you get there. Not there. Why is not there? Drill. It takes you right back to bore. Why is not there? You know why it's not there? Because the D is backward. Right, you're getting it. It's supposed to be B. B-R-I-L. L-I-A-N-T. Because in order to be white, wisdom is in order to be wise. What happens when you be, see, consider ways to be what? Wise. That would take you to what? Brilliant. Hmm? That means go to Ezekiel chapter 1. What's synonymous for brilliant?
Bright.
Brightness. Read verse 4, Ezekiel chapter 1. This is for some of spaceships.
And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north.
Out of the north.
A great cloud.
What kind of cloud?
A great cloud. And a fire enfolding itself.
Mm-hmm.
And a brightness was about it. And out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire.
So that your mind will become, with all of these ants, you follow and obey all these ants, then the last one you become to be wise. Consider ways to be wise. See, go to the ant. I gave you 9. If you decide to consider her ways from 1 through 9. Because they're sluggards. Once you consider her ways 1 through 9, then the last one you will consider, you will experience is being brilliant. Brilliant. Spell it. Brilliant. Officer Drill. Brilliant. I'm going to certainly pray to my Father that you learned something. This was one of the most powerful revelations that He allowed me to reveal. Those on YouTube, they in a lot of trouble. You watch what I tell you. My internet's working. Facebook, Mark didn't mind me coming on. But those over YouTube, because they reached the government, that's government, they got to the police officer and said, don't you say nothing. Tell them it was a hoax. It's a weather balloon that flew up 40,000 feet up in the air, weather balloon. 40,000 feet up where that hydrogen is. Goodness. And frozen, it's cold up there. And you're going to tell me a hot air balloon is going to survive that 30 degree below temperature, 40,000 feet. Anyway, I've taken up enough of your time. I've completed my side of what I was told to do. I pray you go to the ant. Consider her ways. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise, be brilliant. With that said, shalom, shalom, shalom alaikum.
Salam alaikum.